On October the 7th, 2023, Hamas and other militant Palestinian groups launched a large-scale, highly coordinated attack on Israel, crossing from Gaza by land, by sea and by air. This assault was the deadliest single massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. More than 1,200 people were brutally murdered in cold blood, most of them civilians. They included women, children, the infirm and the elderly. Entire families were slaughtered in their own homes. Partygoers, young people at the Nova Music Festival were brutally gunned down, with over 360 young people slaughtered at that site alone. Survivors reported cases of rape, mutilation, torture and execution-style killings. Around 250 hostages were then abducted into Gaza, including infants, children, women, elderly and some foreign nationals. Some were paraded publicly and held in tunnels and subjected to abuse, whilst thousands of rockets were targeting Israeli cities. This government's response and reward to such a heinous and blatant act of terrorism that not only sparked a fresh wave of death for both sides in the Middle East, but is entirely responsible for the unwelcome and unwanted sectarianism and division that we see on our own streets today, is simply unbelievable. And by the way, whenever did any of us give Keir Starmer and this Labour government permission to do what they're about to do? Last month, a senior Hamas official described any decision by Britain to recognise the Palestinian state would be one of the fruits of October the 7th. That says it all. And even as I make this video, there are still 48 remaining innocent hostages being held by Hamas terrorists more than 2 years after that event. Now look, let me be very clear on something. Like every single sane and decent human being on this planet, I want to see an end to the killing and the destruction and the horrors that are taking place in that region. But the harsh reality and the truth is this: until Hamas are completely eliminated and until the people of Gaza themselves accept that all the time they are being represented by terrorists, they will never find peace. And I'm afraid until they can do this, we're all chasing a lost cause without any hope. And I know there will be many people out there that support the Palestinian cause, and they may well know a lot more about this than me. But as a Brit, all I need to know is this: Hamas started this, at least the latest round of events that led us to where we are today. Not only in the Middle East, but also in the United Kingdom. They beat their own people for just trying to get food and aid that has been supplied to them by the outside world. Hamas are the ones still holding the hostages. And if Israel were to put down all of their weapons tomorrow, Hamas would refuse to do so. And if Hamas chose to release the hostages today and never fired another shot into Israel, there would be peace. But if Israel were to put down all their weapons, there will be a bloodbath. Look, nobody, including me, is saying that the Israeli government is perfect. We all know that no government is perfect. But you only have to look at how hatred has spilled onto our streets in the UK to understand how Hamas and their wicked ideology works, their philosophy, and what they want to ultimately achieve: world domination. The total annihilation of Israel and every single Jew on the planet, and then us. And if you know anything about the real Nazis, that will all sound a very familiar story. Let me tell you now, Starmer's recognition of a Palestinian state is nothing more than a terrible nod to terrorism and murder, and will only embolden the perpetrators of October the 7th, who can now go back to their people and say, look, this is our reward, look what we've achieved. Back in the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher said that you can never negotiate with terrorists. in 2025. Keir Starmer and his Labour Party have chosen to reward them.